Namaste, Sharana Sharanarthigalu, dear learning enthusiasts, welcome to my YouTube page. From grade 1st to 5th, you were studied about one more subject, that is environment studies. Dear chums, now from 6th grade onwards, you are going to study an interesting and adventurous subject, that is history. Before going to start your new chapter, let us understand about our history subject. History, it is a part of bigger group of subjects known as social studies. Social studies consist various subjects like geography, political science, economics, as well as archaeology. Social science help you to understand the working of our social world. It tells about history in the world in the present. History means study of past. Kids, history in the sense is an adventure. It is a journey across time and space. It transports us into another world, another age in which people lived very differently. Their economy and society, their beliefs and faiths, their clothes and food, their settlements and buildings, their arts and crafts, everything was different. History can open doors into such worlds. But history is not just about the past, it is about the present. The society we live in has been fashioned by those who came before us. The joys and sorrows of their daily lives, their attempt to grapple with the problems of their time, their discoveries and inventions slowly transformed human societies. These changes were often so gradual, so seemingly small, that their impact was noticed by people at that time. Only later, when we return to the past, when we study history, we begin to see how these changes happened, and we can observe their long term effect. By reading history, we can understand how the modern world has emerged over long centuries of development. History can enable us to develop important skills and qualities, and learning history experience that enriches us in many different ways. So, before you shrug your shoulders, ask yourself one question: do I want to know who I am? Do I want to understand how society works? Do I want to understand the world in which I live? If you do, then you will need to know how our societies have evolved and how our past have shaped the present. Yes, dear kids, let us start our discussion with our new chapter in the history section. Chapter number 1: What, Where, How, and When. Dear chums, these what, where, how, and when, these are the some elements are those understand the concept of trying to understand the concept of history. What, where, how, and when. These elements are those try to understand the concept of history. Let us start our contents. These are, before going to start the contents, understand meaning of history. History means reflecting on the importance of the past. And why study history? History helps us understand people and societies. History helps us understand change and how the society we live in came to be. History provides identity. History contributes to moral understanding. History and studying history is essential for good citizenship. Yes, why should we? It is important to study history. It provides a national identity. It provides examples of success, morality, and of course, the examples of the opposite. History helps us understand current world affairs and conflicts by understanding the root of the problems, provides support for making decisions, and encourages responsible public behavior, whether as a national or a community leader, an informed voter or a petitioner or a simple observer. Yes, dear chums, history means knowing the past helps you succeed in the present. Yes, before going to start our chapter, what, where, how, and when, understand the part of our Indian history. Parts of Indian history, there are three parts. One is the ancient Indian history, second one is the medieval Indian history, and third one is the modern Indian history. Let us understand what is the ancient Indian history. Ancient means early Indian history. In the grade 6, you are going to learn about the ancient Indian history, and in this book, you are going to learn about the civilizations. For example, birth of Indus Valley civilization in the period of 2500 BC, and the civilization started in the part of northwest of our India, and it is a western part also. And in grade 7th you are going to learn the medieval Indian history. The medieval Indian history covers the portion about the 7th century to 17th century, and the strongly associated with the Islamic influence of the Muslim dynasties, and they rule in India about 300 years. And this is all about the study about the medieval Indian history. And next, the another one part, that is modern Indian history, you are going to learn in the ninth and 10th grade. So this covers the portion as begins in the year 1850 onwards, and India was occupied by the British rule, and Indians started freedom for struggle, and freedom struggles, and independence also start we got independence, and framing of constitution and industrial revolution, and so on. Let us start our new chapter, what, where, how, and when, that is covered the portion about the ancient Indian history. Let us start the contents. What can we know about the past? In that, we are covering food, clothes, house, occupations, and lifestyle of the people. And in the second portion, we are covering where did people live? Banks of the rivers and hilly areas. And in the bank of the rivers and hilly areas, peoples are hunters and gatherers. Animals, they were reared the animals, and they move one place to another place for traveling purpose. And next one, some kingdoms were emerged, and in between various kingdoms, they were some wars. We can see the wars, and some kingdoms were emerged on the banks of the rivers also. And the names of various names of India, like Bharat, India, Indos, and Hindus. And fourth one, we are covering the finding out about the past. If we want to read the past, we need the some source. Those are manuscripts, inscriptions, and archaeology. At lastly, we are covering the chronology, that is called AD and BC. How to measure the time and event with the base of the chronological line. And we are covering the first one. What can we know about the past? Yes, dear chums, there are several things we can find out. What people ate, the kinds of clothes they wore, the houses in which they lived. We can find out about the lives of hunters, herders, farmers, rulers, merchants, priests, craft persons, artists, musicians, and scientists. We can also find out about the games children played, the stories they heard, the plays they saw, the songs they sung. In the ancient period, peoples were hunters and gatherers. They were hunting the animals in the forest, and they are using the meat and the hides for their daily life. And herders, they are herding the animals. For example, they are providing food and shelter for the animals, and like they are rearing the means, they are training the animals, and they are using those animals for milk productions and meat purpose and wool purpose. And basically they started to living in a settled life. They were started living in a settled life, and they have good knowledge about the soil, and they have the good knowledge about the crops, from seeding to sapling to up to young plant. So, and these are the one of the life cycle of the plants. They have the good knowledge. That's why they started agriculture system. And after agriculture slowly and gradually developed on the bank of the rivers, some new villages emerged, and village people travel from one place to another place for selling their crops, selling their craft things. And some people started occupation as priest, artists and musicians and scientists. We can see all the changes day by day, developing one event to another event. So these are we can see in this content. And next we go through the second one, where did people live. Before going to this content, just you observe the one more map of river map of India. So by the reading of map we can understand these are the some lines located in the India and out of the India. So these lines shows us the river system of India. So first of all we go through the in the eastern part we have the Brahmaputra river. In the north part we have the Ganga river and its tributaries, as well as in the western part in the Indus. It is located in present day Pakistan, but their tributaries flowing in our India like Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Bias. And as well as in the south part of our India, Narmada, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri and so on. These are the rivers that flourished the land, because they made the fertile land in our India. So the fertile land gives us surplus food growing. That's why on the bank of the river more cities and villages were developed or emerged, and they were flourished the place of the bank of the rivers. So let us start the next one. So people in India in various parts they have their own rituals, own food habits, they have their own culture, they have their own dress sense, lifestyles, language is also different. So this one of the picture depict shows us various part of our country. They have their different styles of dresses and different styles of occupations, and different styles of their occupations also available. For example, in the early age, in the past peoples were hunters and gatherers, and craft persons, priests, merchants, musicians and scientists. And next we go through the where did people live. People living on the bank of the rivers as well as in hilly areas. These are the suitable settlements for the human being. Water availability also available, and as well as climatical condition also good, and more fertile land also available. That's why the past peoples were chosen the bank of the rivers, that is more fertile land. So history is studied geographically and geography is studied historically, because history studied about the geographical conditions, for example climatical conditions, soil condition and fertile lands, and which is the trade center. Trade means they are selling the goods to other people, and other peoples are purchasing their goods. This is about commerce, in commerce matters. And they shared their culture, their languages, their food habits and their record. And who are historians, they kept their records of these changes. And next we go through the first one. uh, Probably the past peoples were chosen the banks of the rivers. Those are Narmada, and the it is in the heart of our India. And this, and along with the tributaries, the Narmada made the so fertile land in our heart of India in the Deccan Plateau. And in the part of northwest, in the present day Pakistan, Afghanistan, in the border of India, one more Indus river at present day we are calling Sindhu. Sindhu is the one of the river, and its tributary Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Bias. These tributaries and the main river Indus made the fertile land in the present day Pakistan, Afghanistan, and in India. So peoples were, first of all, they were hunters and gatherers. Slowly and gradually they were led the settled life for rearing the cattle. Their main occupation is rearing cattle and wheat and barley in the Kirtar Hill and Suleiman Hills in the northwest part of our India, in the in at present day Pakistan. So in hilly areas, people's their main occupation was growing the crops like wheat and barley, and they were reared the cattle's like cattles and as well as sheep and goat for their meat purpose, wool purpose, and milk produce purpose. And peoples were hunters and gatherers also, and slowly and gradually they they were led the settled life, and they were accepted one more occupation, that is agriculture system, and started raiding animals. And it is all about 8,000 years ago. And next we go through the, this is all about the Indus Valley civilization, where the Kirtan and Suleiman hills are available. And next another one, Narmada Valley river. And in the valley, peoples were hunters and gatherers. Just you observe the one more picture here. This picture depicts, shows us on the bank of the river Narmada, peoples were in the past, in the early age, they were hunters and gatherers. And next one, they know, they have the good knowledge about the roots and fruits which are edible, which are poisonous. And they have the good knowledge about the plant's parts, for example root, trunk, branch, fruit, leaf, flower, and twig, and which is the edible part, in that they have good knowledge, and which is the medicine plant, which is the edible daily routine plant, that is, they have the good knowledge. And the life cycle of the tree also they have no, that's why they are planting more fruit trees, as well as some medicine plants in their field. And they are rearing cattle also, and they have the good knowledge about forest produce, because they are living in they were lived in hilly areas. Regularly they were visiting the places like hill, forest, and they have the good knowledge about the honey, bamboo, fruits, and some of the roots, and some of the medicinal plants. And next one, they have the good knowledge about the using of the forest goods. For example, fodder is used for the rearing cattle, and grasslands are used for the were used for the rearing the cattle. And honey, and honey, it is edible one thing, and the fodder is and timber also used for the construction of the shelters, and some medicinal plants also they have good knowledge to use. And next one, we go through the, where this map depicts us about the hilly areas as well as river system of India. So by the map reading, we can understand the where are the, where the hilly areas are located, and where the some of the river system located. Just you observe the, in the right side of our Indian map, that is eastern part. In the eastern part, Garo Hill is available. So it is on the bank of the river Brahmaputra as well as Ganga. So the Ganga and Brahmaputra made the more fertile land, and people were hunters and gatherers. Slowly and gradually they were started agriculture life. And next we go through the Vindhya and Satpura ranges. Those are covered in the part of the in between the Narmada and Godavari river bank. And next we go through the, in the western part, at present day Pakistan, Suleiman and Kirtar hills located on the bank of the river Indus, and Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, these are the some tributaries, those are flowing in our their flowing in the at present day Pakistan, Afghanistan, and some part of India. And peoples were before they were started leading life with community, and slowly and gradually they established the villages, and villages become the towns, and the towns became the modern cities. And in the next we go through the the Suleiman and Kirtar hills in the northwest part of our India. Men and women first began to grow crops such as wheat and barley, and in about 8000 years ago are located on the bank of the river Indus. Indus means Sindhu river and its tributaries Jhelum, Chena, Bias, Ravi. And people also began rearing animals like sheep, goat and cattle. People lived in villages. Just you observe, these are the some grass family seeds like barley and wheat. The first barley and rice grown in Garo hills also, as well as in Kirtar and Suleiman hills. And these are the cattle and as well as goat and the sheep they were rearing for milk produce and for meat purpose. And this is Vindhya and Satpura in the heart of the map of India. These are the hilly ranges. In these hilly ranges, people were started agriculture, and agriculture also developed in so many years. These places where rice was first grown. The rice was first grown in the Vindhyas and Satpura hilly areas. Next, we go through the Indus and its tributaries, as well as Garo Hills and Vindhyas and in central India. In Garo Hills, it is in the northeast part of India in the present day Assam, Meghalaya and Manipur. So in this part, people started agriculture and agriculture developed also. Rice was first grown to the north of the Vindhyas also. In the north of the Vindhyas, people started in the heart of our India. And next one, Ganga and the Indus and their tributaries. Tributaries means these are the smaller rivers that flow into a larger river. Tributaries means some are the smaller rivers that flow into a larger river. So Ganga is the one of the main river, and its tributaries like Yamuna, Chambal and Son. These are the tributaries of Ganga. As well as for Sindhu river, it has five tributaries like Jhelum, Chena, Bravi, Bias and Satluj. So like that, along with the tributaries, they made the very fertile land on the bank of the river Ganga and the bank of the river Indus and the bank of the river Narmada. These are the ancient lands. Peoples were started leading life on the banks of these rivers. And Ganga, what about 4700 years ago, some of the cities flourished on the bank of these rivers. And later, about 2500 years ago, cities developed on the banks of the Ganga and its tributaries and along with the sea coast. Along with the sea coast, one more city developed, that is nowadays we are calling as a Kolkata. So it is the oldest city that was developed on the bank of the river Ganga and along with the sea coast. And in ancient times, the area along these rivers to the south of the Ganga was known as Magadha. So Magadha, where is the land is Magadha? The Magadha was in the present day state in Bihar. So the Ganga's south part is called as a Magadha. Magadha, it is one of the kingdom name, and Mauryans ruled this Magadha, and they were very powerful kings and set up a large kingdom. Kingdoms were set up in other parts of the country as well. Just you observe the figures. These are the blue color line shows us in the map of river map of India, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Along with the tributaries, they cover the more part of the north and eastern part. So throughout the people travel from one place to the subcontinent to another. Why? Because for example, they travel from the Himalayan mountains, they traveled from the deserts and rivers and seas and made journey dangerous at times. For crossing the Himalaya, it is not easy because it is almost whole year covered with the snow, and there is no oxygen up to hill top. So in a mountain top, that's why it is not easy to travel from one place to another place in the hilly areas as well as in deserts and rivers. And but it is not impossible also, because they have chosen many ways. For example, they made them some invention, wheel invention also, as well as boats invention. They made their travel very easy, transportation very easy. That's why men and women moved in search of livelihood. Sometimes they also escape from the natural disasters like floods and or droughts. So, and sometimes men marched in armies conquering others' lands also. When who are in the army, they travel from one place to another place for the defeat the another army in the other kingdom. So this purpose also they were traveling. And another reasons for traveling purpose like merchants traveled with caravans or ships. For example, merchants they have the goods in their hand, so they want to sell their goods in other place. That's why with their caravans they are arriving and they are selling the goods and they are earning money, or they are sharing their goods and they are receiving other materials from the other person. That's why in the barter system, because they have no money in their hand in the ancient period, that's why they were chosen the barter system. Barter system means sharing their food or other things to other people, and other they have other things in their hand, they will share to other person. Like that they were sharing, they were involved in sharing about their goods. This is the barter system that is experienced in the ancient period. And they are carrying valuable goods from one place to another place. For example, Arab countries, they are exporting the some of the animals like horse and camels to our India, and Indians are exporting some precious metals, gems, as well as spices to other countries. And religious teachers walked from village to village and town to town, stopping to offer instruction and advice on the way. Yes, people like who are teachers, religious teachers like Buddha, Mahavira, as well as Muhammad Paigambar. These are like some peoples travel to one place to another place for giving their speeches to society. And finally, some people perhaps travel driven by spirit of adventure, wanting to discover new and exciting places. For example, Huan Sang was one of the ancient traveler. He came from China, and for his adventure purpose, and he want to discover something and new and exciting places in our India. And all these led to the sharing of ideas between people for traveling purpose. And they are, for example, traveling made the sharing the ideas of between the people. For example, just you observe the one of the bank of the river Ganga, the cities were developed and they were constructed so many buildings for a living purpose. And this is all about the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. They were covered the they covered the more north part and eastern part of our India. In the ancient period, people started living in those bank of the river. And next we go through the, this is the one of the oldest city in the bank of the river Ganga. And next one, what about the Ganga? Let us start about the hints about the Ganga. Magadha. In ancient time, on the bank of the river Ganga is known as Magadha. Here, the rulers were very powerful. Mauryan empires ruled this part of Magadha. It's one of the trade center, one of the capital also. They set up large kingdom in various part of our India. For example, in south part also various river system also available located, and on the bank of these rivers also some of the dynasties emerged like Ganga, Kadamba, Rashtrakuta, Chalukya, Hoysala, and um, Cholas were established their kingdom on the bank of these rivers in the south part. And travel made the sharing the ideas of the people between the people. For example, who traveled various part of our subcontinent, and Himalaya, deserts, hills, rivers and seas, these travel made dangerous also. It is not never impossible also, because they made some inventions like wheel invention, and some of the boats and some of the vehicles invented. And in search of livelihood, escape from natural disasters, some time marched or for armies, defeat others' lands. These all reasons people traveling from one place to another place. Merchants travel with the caravans also. Religious teachers walked for giving their religious teachings. Some people for adventure, wanting for discover new and exciting places. People sharing of the ideas between people. This is all about the river system and hilly areas, how the river system developed and hilly areas developed, and the people started living basically they were hunters and gatherers. Slowly and gradually they were led the settled life, and the new cities and new villages were developed on these banks of the rivers. First one is the Indus river, that is we call it as a Sindhu river. On the bank of the river, here also one more civilization developed, that is called Indus Valley civilization. And these peoples were basically hunters and gatherers. Slowly and gradually they were rearing the cattle, they were led the settled life, they were become the agriculturists, and wheat and barley, these are the two crops they were started to growing. And next year in the Ganga is the one of the main river in our north part of our India. It has many tributaries. Along with tributaries, it has made the more fertile land. The peoples who are living in these areas were basically they were gatherers. And as well as the people started living in the villages and as well as cities, and the cities villages developed and became the cities also. And next one, Magadha is the one of the kingdom that is emerged on the bank of the river Ganga, and the kings were very powerful. And the India, it has adjacent countries. Those are Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, and Sri Lanka, and neighboring countries of Afghanistan, Iran, China, and Myanmar. And South Asia is often called a subcontinent because although it is smaller than a continent, it is a very large and is separated from the rest of Asia by seas, hills, and mountains. So, in South Asia is the one of the subcontinent. We have various countries in the subcontinent of South India, South Asia. Those are Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, China, India, and so on. And we go through the another one. Why do people travel nowadays? Yes, these are the uh, before going to start the names of India, why the people travel nowadays. Nowadays we are traveling for various purposes, like study purpose, for business purpose, for meet our family friends, and for relatives purpose, for example higher study purpose. So but in past days or in early ancient Indian history, peoples were travel for the various purposes, like for selling their goods, as well as their movements of people enriched our culture and tradition also. That's why in various part of our country we have our rich culture, and we have various languages, but we have unity in our India. So people have shared new ways of carving stone, composing music, and even cooking food over several hundred years. This type of development we can see slowly and gradually developed on the bank of the rivers and hilly areas. Almost all it covers the whole part of our India. And which are the names given to our land? This is the study about the last content. So two of the words we often use for our country are India and Bharat. India and Bharat, these are the names given to our country. But before, the word India comes from the Indus. India, it is the one of the name given to the our country or our land. So it is came from the Indus. Indus is the one of the river that is located in the part of our western India. So basically the Indus is called as a Sindhu in Sanskrit. This is about the how the India name came to our land. And find Iran and Greece in your atlas. The Iranians and the Greeks who came through the northwest. Iranians and Greeks, they were came from the northwest in the about 2500 years ago, and they were familiar with Indus. They were called our land as a Indus and called it the Hindus or the Indus also. They who came from the uh, Greek and the Iran. They were called our land as a Hindus or Indos. The land the east of the river was called India. The land to the east of the river was called India. So the name Bharata, that is the third one, the name Bharata was used for a group of people who lived in the north. The people who are living in the northwest part of our India, those they have the given name as a Bharata. And the earliest composition in Sanskrit, it is written in a Rigveda. In Rigveda, the land mentioned as a Bharata. Bharata means who are living in the northwest part of our India, the group of people called the Bharata. And it is a Rigveda is the earliest composition in Sanskrit, and later it was used for the country. Yes, dear kids, we covered the all contents at the end of this chapter, and another part we are going to discuss in another video. Let us complete this video, and keep watching my upcoming videos and keep learning. Stay healthy, stay safe.